Well, hello, South Carolina. It is great to be back in the Palmetto State. And I'm here for one reason and one reason only. South Carolina and America need Lindsey Graham back in the United States Senate. And I'm not the only one who thinks that, where I work. So let me bring greetings from a friend of mine. I called him this morning before I got on the plane. To be quite honest with you, I thought he sounded just a little bit jealous that I was going to be in South Carolina today. So let me bring greetings from a man who loves South Carolina and the man that South Carolina voted to make the 45th President of the United States of America, President Donald Trump. Now, the President and I are here because we're standing next to this man because of the way he stood with us, the way he's fought for the common sense conservative values of the people of South Carolina. And there's a couple other people who've done that with great consistency who are great friends of ours as well. Would you join me in welcoming Governor Henry McMaster and First Lady Peggy McMaster, who are doing such a fantastic job for South Carolina. Governor, thank you for being here. And also Lieutenant Governor Pamela Evatt and Attorney General Alan Wilson, great public servants. Thank you for being with us. You know, I think it's always customary to introduce the highest ranking official in the room last. So join me in welcoming my wife of 33 years. She's a Marine Corps mom. She is a champion for military families and spouses. And she's even an art teacher at a Christian school. Join me in welcoming the Second Lady of the United States of America, Karen Pence. And we're here to talk about your senator. We're here to talk about the progress that we've made together with just over the last 2 years. But we're also here to talk about the choice people of South Carolina are going to face in this election year coming up right around the corner. But South Carolina, bottom line, I'm here to say we need 6 more years of Senator Lindsey Graham, and we need 4 more years of President Donald Trump. You know, I can honestly say I was for Lindsey Graham before it was cool. I was literally a talk radio show host back in the 1990s. And I discovered C-SPAN. And I started watching this fiery young conservative member of the House of Representatives who was taking a strong stand for conservative values. People of South Carolina would be wise enough to send him to the United States Senate in 2002. And he's emerged as literally one of the greatest champions for conservative values. He has stood strong for the rule of law. He has stood strong for less government and less taxes. And the armed forces of the United States of America have no greater champion in the United States Senate than Senator Lindsey Graham. It's true. And in addition to his service, I also am aware that he's actually donned a different uniform during all those same years. It wasn't too long ago that he recently wrapped up 33 years of distinguished service, retired out. Would you join me in thanking Colonel Lindsey Graham for his service to the United States of America? When you look at his heart for service, you look at his years in uniform, you look at his years in public office, you can only draw one conclusion. We need 6 more years of Senator Lindsey Graham in the United States Senate. Because he's been there every step of the way. The progress we've made over the last 2 years has been remarkable. In fact, the last week has been remarkable. I mean, think about it. Just about 1 week ago, with the strong support of your senator behind our armed forces, with the leadership of this commander-in-chief, with the courage of the armed forces of the United States and our allies, the last inch of territory controlled by the ISIS caliphate was captured. The ISIS caliphate is no more. It's gone. His colleagues in the House of Representatives upheld President Trump's declaration of a national emergency at the southern border of the United States, and we've already started to build that wall. The Green New Deal got 0 votes in the United States Senate. And after 2 years of investigations and reckless accusations by many Democrats and members of the media, just 1 week ago, the special counsel confirmed what President Trump has said all along. There was no collusion between the Trump campaign and Russia in 2016, and the AG said there was no obstruction of justice. But despite the relentless allegations and obstruction by the Democrats, I got to tell you, you look back at the last 2 years, and with your senator's support, I think there's only one way you can describe it. It's been 2 years of action. It's been 2 years of results. It's been 2 years of promises made and promises kept. And Senator Lindsey Graham has been there every step of the way, South Carolina. Think about it. This president promised to get this economy moving again. With Senator's support, this president's already signed more bills cutting federal red tape than any president in American history. We've unleashed American energy as never before, and today the United States is the largest producer of oil and natural gas in the world. We've negotiated new trade deals that are putting American jobs and American workers first, and President Trump, with your senator's support, signed the largest tax cut in American history. We cut taxes for working families, we cut taxes for businesses across South Carolina, and we cut out the core of Obamacare. The individual mandate is gone. And the results have just been amazing. It's just been remarkable. In just over 2 years, businesses large and small across South Carolina and across America have created 5.3 million new jobs. The stock market is soaring. Nearly 5 million Americans have been lifted off food stamps, and the unemployment rate has hit a 50-year low, and the unemployment rate for African Americans and Hispanic Americans has set an all-time record. The American dream is working for every American. And I got to tell you what touches the president's heart and mind, maybe the most of all these economic statistics, Senator, is the fact that when you look at wages are growing more rapidly than they have in 10 years. But when you look inside the numbers, the most rapid wage growth in America is for blue-collar, working Americans. The forgotten men and women of America are forgotten no more. Confidence is back. Jobs are back. In a word, America is back. That's why we need Senator Lindsey Graham back in the United States Senate. But you know, to secure our prosperity, your senator and this president knows that it all begins with providing for the national defense. And from the first days of this administration, President Trump, with the strong support of both of your senators, has been working to make the strongest military in the history of the world stronger still. President Trump has actually signed the largest increase in our national defense since the days of Ronald Reagan. We're rebuilding our military. We're restoring the arsenal of democracy. And we're finally giving our soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Coast Guard the resources and the support that they need to accomplish their mission and come home safe. And Senator Lindsey Graham has been in there fighting for our armed forces every step of the way. And it hasn't just been security for our nation as a whole, it's also been border security. And Senator Lindsey Graham has been standing strong with President Trump to secure our border. He stood behind the President's declaration of a national emergency. We've already started to build that wall, and we're going to secure the border and end this crisis of illegal immigration once and for all. And Senator Lindsey Graham provided the kind of strong support that has seen this president see confirmed more conservatives to our federal court of appeals in the first 2 years of any president in American history. And that doesn't even include Justice Neil Gorsuch or Justice Brett Kavanaugh. You know, America, I know South Carolina will never forget it, but America will never forget. Never forget the moral authority and strength that Senator Graham showed during the Kavanaugh hearing. It was truly inspiring. I mean, as we watch Democrats on the Judiciary Committee treat a good man so badly, your senator called that spectacle exactly what it was: a despicable thing. And in his words, the most unethical sham since he's been in politics. Lindsey Graham stood strong, and now Justice Brett Kavanaugh sits on the Supreme Court of the United States of America. Thank you, Senator. And I got to tell you, we're just getting started. Because this senator is now not just down the bench. South Carolina, you are home to the chairman of the Judiciary Committee in the United States Senate. And this president and this chairman are going to see even more conservatives appointed to our federal courts. And I promise you, there are going to be conservatives that uphold all the God-given liberties enshrined in the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, like the freedom of religion, like the freedom of speech, and the Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms. They'll do it. You know, I've long believed that a society can be judged by how it deals with its most vulnerable: the aged, the infirm, the disabled, and the unborn. And I couldn't be more proud to serve as vice president to a president who stands without apology for the sanctity of human life. Since the early days of this administration, President Trump has taken decisive steps to prevent taxpayer dollars from supporting or promoting abortion at home and abroad. And your senator's been there every step of the way, standing for life. In fact, he was there the day that I had the privilege of casting the tie-breaking vote in the United States Senate that sent a bill to President Trump's desk that allowed South Carolina and all 50 states to defund Planned Parenthood. You know, the truth is, more Americans every day, especially younger Americans, are embracing the sanctity of life. Life is winning in America. It's winning hearts and minds every day. But tragically, at the very moment that we see America turning toward life, particularly in the younger generation, truth is, leading members of the Democratic Party are embracing a radical agenda of abortion on demand. You've all seen it. In state legislatures across the country, Democrats have endorsed late-term abortion. The Democrat governor of Virginia openly defended infanticide. And just last month, Democrats in the Senate, including every Democrat running for President of the United States, voted against a bill that would prevent newborn babies who survived failed abortions from being killed. With Democrats embracing late-term abortion, infanticide, and a culture of death, I'll make you a promise. This president, this administration, this senator, and our party will always stand for the unborn. We will always stand for the sanctity of human life. So we've restored American strength and security at home. We've stood up for our values, stood with our armed forces. We've made great progress. And you know, it's one of the things the president says most often in conversation with people. People walk up to him and they say they want to thank him for what he's done for the country. The president almost invariably says, it's what we've done. And I want you to know, South Carolina, we've done it together. And I hope you take pride in it. But the truth of the matter is, we've got a choice to make in the next 19 months. The truth is, we've got to ask ourselves, will we let the Democrats take America on a hard left turn and reverse the gains that we've made in our security and our prosperity and the advance of our values? Or will we re-elect a president and re-elect a senator that are making America great again? That's the choice. And you know, in all of my nearly 60 years, I think the stakes have never been higher, and the choice has never been clearer. You know, America was founded on a simple idea. That idea was freedom. But today, leading Democrats openly advocate an economic system that has impoverished millions for generations and stolen the liberties of people around the world. That system is socialism. But it was freedom, not socialism, that gave us the most prosperous nation in the history of the world. It was freedom, not socialism, that ended slavery, won 2 world wars, and makes America stand today as a beacon of hope for all the world. And it was freedom, not socialism, that's moving us beyond the prejudice of the past to create a more perfect union for every American and improve the health and well-being of millions of people around the world. You know, the truth is, Medicare for all really means quality health care for none. And the only thing green about the Green New Deal is all the green it's going to cost us if they ever sign it into law. You know, Margaret Thatcher probably said it best. The trouble with socialism is that you eventually run out of other people's money. You know, I think the moment America becomes a socialist country is the moment that America ceases to become America. So this is the time, South Carolina, for all of us to say with one voice, as this president said to the American people, America will never be a socialist country. But it's not just about saying it, we've got to do it. I would not tell people in South Carolina about presidential elections. You all have a lot more experience with them here than we do in Indiana by and large, at least when it comes to primaries. And I'll tell you what, it's time, men and women, for us to do, all of us, all we can. Talk to your neighbors and friends. Talk to your co-workers. Talk to your employees. Talk to people in your church, outside your place of worship. Tell them about the choice that we have before us. Tell them about what this president's been able to do for this country, to strengthen our security, to have America standing tall in the world once again, to have this economy growing, and to see our courts once again have strengthened foundation in their commitment to the Constitution as written. And when you're telling them about all that progress, tell them that Senator Lindsey Graham has been an indispensable partner with President Donald Trump all along the way. You got to go tell them. You got to work. You got to talk, you got to work, you got to support. Lindsey just told his sister a few minutes ago backstage after we took a picture, he said, "Now get out of here and start knocking on doors." It's going to be a real election. It's going to be a real choice. You know, my wife's favorite poet is Robert Frost. And her favorite poem, I think, talks about where we are as a nation today. It's that poem about two roads diverged in the woods, and I took the road less traveled by, and it made all the difference. You know, America's always taken the road less traveled by. The road of freedom, individual liberty, and limited government. We haven't followed the broad path that other nations have followed into steady decline. We led the world in prosperity and security, and so we can again. But we have to choose. And I would say to you, we have to do one more thing. We have to avail ourselves of that wellspring of strength that always nurtured the character of the American people. If you're of a mind to bow the head and bend the knee in these two divided times, I think this is a good time to pray for America. Yes. For all the people of America. You know, it seems like you turn on the television, it seems like there's more that divides our country than ever before in my lifetime. But I'll always believe, and I see it everywhere I go in this country, that there'll always be more that unites this country than can ever divide us. And chief among that is faith. And so exercise your faith in the days ahead. Have faith in our neighbors and our friends to choose that path of freedom again. To make the right choice for this generation and the next of a stronger, freer, more prosperous America. Have faith in the leaders that you've sent to the White House, this great leadership you've sent to the United States Senate, and to Republican leaders at every level of government. And lastly, exercise that other kind of faith. A faith that's expressed in those ancient words, that if his people who are called by his name will humble themselves and pray, he'll do like he's always done through the long and storied history of these United States. He'll hear from heaven, and he'll heal this land, this one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So let's do it, South Carolina. Let's work, let's labor, and let's pray, and let's re-elect Senator Lindsey Graham to the United States Senate and re-elect President Donald Trump for 4 more years, and we will make America great again. Thank you all very much. God bless you, and God bless America.
Thank you.